Hi there, and welcome back to the Finding Wendy podcast. I'm Wendy Limbertie. I'm a retired professional classical musician. So back in 2018, I underwent gastric sleeve surgery and had a starting weight of 450 pounds. And after reaching my lowest weight, I experienced a weight regain of over 75 pounds. And that's when I turned onto and discovered intermittent fasting. And I was inspired by the work of Jen Stevens, who's the author of the New York Times bestseller Fast Feast Repeat, and Alison Pizanie, author of The Regain Remedy. Alison, who also had bariatric surgery and experienced weight regain, wrote her book based on her own journey. Her approach has been a game changer for me, helping me reclaim my health and stay on track.
And I'm Alison Pizanie, the author of The Regain Remedy. I'm a special education teacher from Medford, New Jersey. I've been teaching for 27 years. I had bariatric surgery in 2016, and by 2019, I was regaining my weight. I began intermittent fasting in 2020, right before the pandemic, and it has been a great journey so far. I'm down 30 additional pounds from IF alone, and I've been maintaining effortlessly. I wrote The Regain Remedy this year to help those that have had bariatric surgery to know that there's another way to battle regain, besides more surgery, medications, or overly restrictive diets. And the book is available on Amazon.
Alison, it's so great you're here. And so before we dive into today's episode, here's a quick reminder. While we love sharing tips and stories about intermittent fasting and the post-bariatric life, this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We're not doctors, so make sure to consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, fasting routine, or health plan. Everyone's journey is unique, and your health always comes first. Now, let's get into the good stuff.
I'm so excited to be here today, Wendy. We're going to be talking about Atomic Habits by James Clear, and it has such a big impact on how I approach habit building, especially after bariatric surgery. And I think there's so much in this book that we can apply to our everyday lives.
Absolutely. And today we're going to be breaking down some of the most powerful concepts of atomic habits. We'll explore how small, consistent changes can lead to monumental improvements in our lives. James Clear says that habits are the compounding interest of self-improvement. And I love that analogy. And the more you stick with positive habits, the more those efforts compound over time. So, Alison, I'm just going to jump right into the book and talk about chapter 9 of Atomic Habits by James Clear. I don't think we have to say James Clear every time, so I'll just say it once because there's something really important in this chapter that resonates with me. So he talks about how crucial it is to have a tribe, your family, your friends, or your social circle to support and motivate you in building your habits. This insight for me is one of the most powerful takeaways from the book. Thank God I met you, Alison. You are part of my tribe, and you are the reason why I get up in the morning and I do not have breakfast. I have my cup of black coffee. You are part of this reason why I'm able to stick to the program. So the author, Clear, shares a story about Laszlo Polgar. He's a Hungarian man who believed that geniuses aren't born. They're created through deliberate education and practice. And just a quick backstory, that Laszlo's children grew up to be chess champions of the world. And he taught these young children how to practice. Through practicing, it became fun to play chess. And I can't remember what age he started them, but like really, really like 2 or 3 or 4 years old, really, really young. So the idea connects, this idea deeply connects with my own experience. I was introduced to the French horn. As you know, or many of you listeners know now, I am a retired professional French horn player. And I was introduced to the French horn when I was 12 years old by a junior high school teacher, not my parents. Immediately, I was paired with a private horn teacher, and suddenly I had to develop the habit of practicing regularly with clear expectations of improvement. So at first, I resisted. I didn't want to practice and struggled with the discipline, but over time, something clicked. The more I practiced, the better I got, and the more I actually enjoyed playing. So what had started out as a chore became something I looked forward to. And a huge part of that was because I wasn't doing it alone. I was part of a group, and the group, actually, my teacher had a group called the Toronto Horn Club. So I had a tribe of fellow horn players who were on the same journey as me. Being around them made the habit of practicing not only easier, but more fun and fulfilling. So the idea of having a tribe is something I've carried with me throughout my life. And James Clear makes a strong point in his book when he says, nothing sustains motivation better than belonging to a tribe. It transforms a personal quest into a shared one. And that's so true. So when you join a group, whether it's a community band, a French horn club, a sports team, or even a fasting community, your identity starts to become intertwined with the people around you. So growth and change no longer feel like something you're tackling alone. For me, joining the Delay, Don't Deny intermittent fasting community and connecting with you, my co-host, Alison, has been a game changer. I'm now part of a tribe that supports and motivates me every day. So when I slip up, like I have in the last week, when I fell off the wagon a couple of times, the tribe, or the idea of the tribe, but the tribe is there to help me get back on track. We're all human. Life happens. But having a tribe means you're never alone in picking yourself up and moving forward. So one of the most powerful things about being part of the tribe, as James Clear explains, is that we naturally start to imitate the habits of those we're closest to, our friends, family, or role models. So most of the time, we'd rather be wrong with a crowd than right by ourselves. And when a behavior gets us approval or respect from our tribe, it becomes more attractive and motivating, like, way to go, yeah. And that you can do in the DDD community, that you can do on your Facebook group page. I post stuff all the time on your Facebook page and Regain Remedy, and little things, little journey. Bravo, I did it. So today we're going to dive deep into how our tribes shape our habits and how we can harness the collective power to stay motivated and consistent on our journey.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I have the same, after reading the book and feeling the support of the IF communities out there and just being in touch with you each day is really, really motivating for me. If by chance you're having trouble finding your tribe, you can look up, just do a search in Facebook. There's groups for really any interest or topic. As Wendy mentioned, I do have the Regain Remedy Facebook group. It's really a nice supportive place if you want to come join us. But you definitely want to surround yourself with people that have the habits that you want to have.
Exactly. You can't do it on your own. You really can't. You can broadcast it. You can post it on Instagram or whatever. Don't make it a secret. I know that in the book, The Obesity Code, that does get mentioned, tell anybody you're fasting. But if you don't tell anybody, then it's easier to get off track too. It's easier to fall off track. Like if you're on a diet and you don't tell anybody and then you go off the diet, it's no embarrassment. Nobody, like, we've seen it all with Oprah. We've experienced years and years and years of Oprah broadcasting on her own show about her diet struggles. We saw her lose weight. We saw her gain weight. She did it all in a public platform. We're doing it in a public platform as well, wearing our plaid, by the way. For those who are watching us on YouTube, we have a plaid day. We're going to try and match. Now, you went with pink and I went with red, but we are doing the plaid because here in Canada, but also you're on the East Coast in New Jersey. It's starting to get really cold. Jen Stevens mentioned Autumn in her most recent podcast in Delay Don't Deny podcast, episode 67, about how she's walking around in a tank top and shorts, and it's autumn. No, you can't do that in Canada, and you can't do that in the East Coast, period. But anyway, I just think we can just dive into our first segment called Goals versus Systems. So let's jump right in. So one of the first idea Clear talks about is the difference between goals and systems. So Alison, what do you think about the statement that goals are good for setting direction, but systems are best for making progress?
Yes, I love that approach. And we often think if we set a goal, then that's enough. But a goal without a system in place is just like driving without a map. You know where you want to go, but you don't know how to get there. So, for example, if your goal is to lose weight, that's great. But what are your daily habits, or what daily habits are you setting up to make that happen? And you know the saying, fail to plan, plan to fail.
Yeah, planning. That's a great saying. Fail to plan, plan to fail. Exactly. It's all about the process. So outcomes are the result of what we want, but systems are how we achieve it. You have to have a system. I had a system as a young horn player when I wanted to become a professional horn player. I had a system of practice that I used with the help of my teacher. So having people around you to help you set up a system is also great. But if you have a system that works for yourself, that's perfect. But the key is really sticking to the system. So Clear talks about this. True behavioral change is an identity change. Rather than focusing on what you want to achieve, focus on who you want to become.
Yes, it has to be part of your identity, right?
Right.
So one of my favorite parts of the book is when Clear talks about deciding who you want to be, and then you take small steps to reinforce that identity. For example, if you want to become a healthier eater, start by identifying as someone who makes healthy choices. You don't want to say, maybe I'll start eating healthy. You want to say, that's who you are. I make healthy choices. And you want to ask yourself the question, does this habit reinforce the identity that I want to have?
Exactly. So if I had an identity of being a professional musician, and now that I'm retired, that identity is gone. And then I was left with this 450-pound identity, and I didn't want that identity, right? So I had to change that. I had to change who and what I was, and that was started with bariatric surgery. But slowly, the old identity was creeping back with this weight regain. And I thought, no, I don't want that identity anymore. I don't want to be incontinent. I don't want to have to wear size X or 8X clothing at 450 pounds. I want to be able to walk. I want to be able to leave the house. I felt like a prisoner. And I know that there are different levels of weight loss, different stages that people are at. They maybe just want to lose 5 or 10 pounds, or they just want to become somebody who is practicing healthier eating, because face it, here in North America, we are so challenged with the amount of junk food and highly processed food that is being blasted in our faces every day. You turn on the TV, every other commercial is about junk food, fast food, Wendy's, McDonald's. We're constantly being reminded. And again, even when I was watching CNN during this big crisis in Florida. I was keeping an eye on it. And Alison, by the way, how is your family? Are they okay?
Yes, they were without power for several days. She just got it back on today. My mom, but
Wow.
everything's fine with the house. So
yeah, okay, good. Well, so watching CNN, and every single commercial break was about Wegovy. Every single commercial break was Wegovy. And for those who don't know what Wegovy is kind of the sister drug of Ozempic. So basically, it is specifically a drug that is designed to help you lose weight at $1,000 a week. But the problem with Wegovy, like every other quick fix, is that the moment you stop taking Wegovy, the moment you stop taking Ozempic, you start regaining the weight. And intermittent fasting is not a diet, it's a lifestyle. So put on those gray socks and Birkenstocks and become a hippie and start practicing healthy eating. Because that's the way I used to look at it, is like, oh, there's a hippie who drives around in a VW bus and wears gray wool socks with his or her Birkenstocks, and has, looks like somebody who hangs out with Joni Mitchell and listens to music of the 60s, and has flower power flowers decals all over their VW bug. But yeah, I'm part of that community now. I'm part of that community that practices healthy eating. No more processed foods, no more garbage food, no more diet drinks, no more chemical sugar, anything like that.
Right. And it doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
Just eat what you want, but make sure it's whole, real food, and then just shrink it into an eating window. That's it.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
complicated.
No.
And
Okay,
it's
so
free. That's why no one talks about it.
well, that's the thing, and it's free, but it's also, you don't make the big food people and the big pharmaceutical companies don't make any money off of people that are fasting. It's a non-money making industry, because you don't make money from people that don't eat or just eat healthy whole foods.
Or take medications. Yeah.
Right. There's no medication involved. None. So let's move on to our next segment called the feedback loop. Cue, craving, response, rewards. So the feedback loop, which is heart of Clear's habit building process. He talks about 4 essential stages: the cue, the craving, response, and the reward. So Alison, can you explain how this loop works?
Sure. So the feedback loop is essentially a cycle that governs our habits. So the cue is to make your habits obvious. The craving is to make it attractive. The response is to make it easy. And the reward, everybody wants the reward, right? Make it satisfying. So the cue will trigger your habit. For example, if you're trying to drink more water, you might want a visual cue, leaving your water bottle on your desk or right with you. We have all the coffees and the water.
I love my soda stream.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Next is the craving. You have to want to do it. So maybe a new water bottle or a new pair of sneakers for your walk every day, something that kind of gets you excited to do it. And then there's the response, which is the actual habit or the action you're going to take, like drinking the water or taking the walk. And the reward satisfies your craving. So you're going to be feeling hydrated with your extra water. You're going to be feeling energized in this case, or, you know that feeling after you take a good walk in nature. You feel wonderful.
Well,
So
I
those are
personally
great
don't.
rewards.
I personally don't, because I don't walk.
But you still get out in nature, Wendy. You're out every day with your dog.
I am.
Then it feels good, right? Facing the sun.
Exactly. Speaking of my dog, she wants to get out on the balcony. She keeps on looking at me. Maybe my friend Marco can open the door here while I'm sitting here, because she wants on the balcony. So let's talk about the I really like the process that starts with awareness. It reminds me of speaking your actions and outcomes out loud to bring awareness to what you're doing, whether it is positive or negative. Awareness is the key to making intentional changes. I talk a lot to myself at home when I'm alone, but I have a dog, so I'm talking to my dog. But I would say out loud, I am now going to have make some water. I'm now going to have a soda stream. I'm now going to have a cup of coffee. I actually say it out loud. And saying your intentions out loud, like in the old days when I was practicing my horn, I'm now going to practice my horn for 45 minutes, and I'm going to practice that very difficult passage in Mahler's Ninth Symphony, that I'm going to practice that for 45 minutes. I'm going to track it. I'm going to write down what I did about it and things like that. And I do the same thing every day with my journal. I write in my journal every day, every morning, how I felt, how yesterday went. I'm very honest in my journal. Like I wrote in my journal this morning, last night, I broke my fast and I had some yogurt with some brown sugar. That's a very Dutch dessert, by the way, with brown sugar. And I broke my fast. My fasting window was closed at 7, but magically, because I had to wait till midnight to go pick up my friend at the airport, I was watching TV way past the normal time I watch TV. Mm-hmm. And this old habit, this old craving crept back in, like, oh, hell, F it. I'm not going to say the word, F it, I'm going to have some yogurt with some brown sugar. I mean, it was just 2 scoops of yogurt and 1 spoonful of brown sugar, but it was like, I broke the fast. But I'm like, okay, you're human. I recognize it. I recognize that that is an old habit, and to speak your actions and to be aware of your actions. Because
yeah, I think the awareness is important. And you kind of did 2 things last night. You were out of your usual routine and habits, and then that caused you to fall back into your old habits. And you recognized it, you wrote it down, and we don't have to be at 100% all the time. It's fine. You're just, I mean, are you off the wagon today? No, you're right back on it.
And I'm right back on it with a guest in the house. I
Which
put
is
all the
huge.
food out for him to make some scrambled eggs with some toast. I didn't have any scrambled eggs and toast. He had the scrambled eggs and toast, which is fine. And I have my coffee, and he has his coffee, and it's fine. So having some disruption. This is the first time, because I've now been fasting for 45 days. This is the first disruption I've had as an IFer to the daily program.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations.
It is. It's like,
Yes, pat yourself on the back.
pat myself on the back. Bravo, Wendy. Bravo. So, making your habits obvious, attractive, and easy and satisfying, like you said.
Yep. And on the flip side, if you want to make bad habits, you want to make them invisible, unattractive, difficult, or unsatisfying. If you can turn your bad habits into those things, then it will make everything easier for you moving forward.
I just wanted to share one thing that I just noticed myself. One bad habit I have, or I eat when I watch TV. Now, I cannot hide my couch. My couch is very central in my apartment. But what I have done is I have hid my TV. My TV is in a cupboard that's closed. It's an old fashioned Dutch linen closet. It's a big closet. And this closet I inherited from my mom. This closet was the closet that had all of the good cutlery and glasses and stuff growing up. But it also had my dad's cookies, and it has a key. And that key was hidden every day in our house. So we came home from school. It was our quest to find the key so we could steal dad's cookies. And sometimes we found it, sometimes we didn't find it. But the really funny thing in our house is that it was an open bar. I had no interest in drinking any alcohol, but I did have interest in, I wanted my dad's cookies because he loved the chocolate covered digestive cookies. I think they're called hobnobs in Britain. It's just like a digestive cookie, but it's got chocolate on it. Those were the good cookies. There was my dad's cookies, and if we found a key, we would definitely steal the cookie, and we would hear about it at night when he got home from work, and he would yell and scream at us, and he would say swear words in Dutch, who got into my cookies, and I think he started taking the key to work, I think, basically, but it has a key, this cupboard. And anyways, making bad habits invisible. So it basically, I binge eat when I'm on the couch watching TV, because you do that subconsciously. When you sit down at a table and have your dinner, it's a good habit. When you sit on the couch and watch TV and bring food to your couch, it's a bad habit. So it's a good idea to eat at the table with no TV on, no distraction on, no phone in your hand. Just concentrate on eating the food. And that's something that I had during my bariatric surgery. After my bariatric surgery, we also had all sorts of extra classes and training. And we had this one training thing that was called, I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, it was reintroducing us to foods, but also introducing us to the art of meditation and foods, and actually tasting the foods and tasting the difference between junk food and homemade food. And it was a very interesting extra class that we got at the bariatric center. And the thing that I noticed was that I eat too fast. So I started eating slower. And the slower you eat, the more time gives your brain to know you're full or not. Because if you eat really, really fast, you'll never know that you're full. because the brain needs time to register that food.
Absolutely.
And you taste the food better when you're not distracted. So next time you eat something, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse, when you're eating something on the couch, do you actually taste it? You probably just taste the first bites, and then after that, there's no more taste, but you're still eating.
Mm-hmm.
You're still eating. So that was something that I was made aware of during my bariatric journey about the art of eating, or the art of enjoying eating.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live alone like I do, I try to eat at the table with no food, no TV, and no phone. Just concentrate on your food.
Yeah. Be mindful and intentional.
I think that was called mindful eating. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
Yes.
That was the course, mindful eating. Thank you.
Mindful eating. Very,
for
very
that.
helpful. And it kind of leads us into our next segment, implementation intentions.
Yes, so I found chapter 5 on implementation intentions really, really insightful. Clear talks about using formula. When situation X arises, you do Y. It's a way to pre-decide your actions in advance.
Yeah, it really helps you to be intentional, and it's such a powerful strategy. So it helps you to make a concrete plan of action. So instead of saying, I should eat healthier, you could set an implementation intention like, I will break my fast at noon with a salad in the teacher's lounge at school. So very specific action about what will happen and then what you will do. And you can say it out loud, you can write it down, but have the decision pre-decide, like you said, the actions in advance.
And that also includes the action of making that food ready at home to take with you to school. If you're going to school and you're breaking your fast at noon, with the salad you made at home the night before or the morning of, to bring with you. So pre-planning your meals is really important as well, because everybody's busy. It's so easy to just call Uber Eats or order something online and, I don't feel like cooking. And it's just, especially if you have a family. I mean, I can imagine you have a family. Do you cook every night, Alison?
I cook about 5 to 6 nights a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time it's eat out, eat in, whatever?
We'll do one dinner out, but I always prep all of my lunches. My kids eat breakfast at home, at home before school. So yeah, we really try not to order too much. It's very expensive and it's just not as healthy.
No, exactly. If we talk about habit stacking, so when I was in the bariatric program, it was called habit anchors. So I think they just changed the terminology because they read the book and said, well, we can't use the word habit stacking, so we'll just use habit anchors. But habit stacking is another concept from the book that I loved, because Clear explains that instead of attaching a new habit to a time and place, you attach it to an existing habit. So for example, after I pour my morning cup of coffee, I will meditate for 5 minutes. So in my case, in the morning, after I've made my coffee, I sit at my desk and the first thing I do is write in my journal.
Yep, and he makes it so easy, thinking about this habit stacking, and it's useful, it's easy, and it actually works. So you piggyback one habit onto another, and then it makes it easier to incorporate the new behavior into your routine. So for me, after I stop my fasting app, I remind myself to prepare my healthy meal for the next eating window. And one that I would like to start after reading the book and, thinking about how I want to incorporate movement or exercise more into my day, and thinking about how he said you can do it in a small way. I would like to, I'm going to start this week. After I brush my teeth, I'm going to do, I don't know, like 20 or 30 just squats right in the bathroom before I get ready for work. Just kind of get some movement going in a really easy, accessible way that will help me reach my goal of, being more active.
So I think that's a great idea, and it's always good to introduce, and that's something that he talks about in the book as well, with the habit stacking, that you keep on stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking until it becomes this giant Lego house of habits. And a new habit that I've incorporated together with my journaling is this home exercise program. I don't know if you can see this. So,
Oh, yes.
yeah, it's. I recently am going to a physiotherapist because I have huge pain in my neck and my back, and as it turns out, there's an actual terminology for it. It's like a bump on the top of your neck. So anyways, I go to a physiotherapist twice a week now, that's paid for by our Ontario health system. And she gave me this home exercise program where I'm trying to learn to sit straight and bring my chin down, and I'm doing all sorts of exercises where I pull my head over to the left and to the right, which I'm doing right now on the video, to stretch these muscles in my neck. And the thing is that what I've also done is I have a platform now that my laptop is on. So my laptop is higher. So it's at eye level. So I have a cordless keyboard on the table, but I'm sitting straight because we're all hanging over our phones and we're all hanging down and whatever. But the new habit part of my habit stacking is doing these exercises right after I write in my journal. So that's a new habit that I have definitely added.
Right, because how many times do you think about, I would like to be doing this, I would like to live like this, I want to have this identity, but the day comes and goes and you don't actually do it. So
No.
I love that. Like, I'm going to brush my teeth 100% every single morning. If I add on my 30, maybe it turns into 50 squats after that. You have a brand new habit that is, bringing you closer towards your identity.
Yeah, and it takes a while for it to sort of sink in, but you don't think about brushing your teeth anymore. It's just a habit. Just like parents who bring their kids to school in the car. It's a habit. You don't even think about it, but you were forced in doing it. You have to do it. No choice. Like I had to practice in order to become a better horn player. I had to practice, otherwise my horn teacher would have been really mad with me and say, "You didn't practice your scale this week," So it's just getting that kind of
that's when your habits are unsatisfying, right? Which is motivating. That's your teacher being mad at you is a motivation, and it does
That's right.
help you to
That's
practice.
right.
Absolutely.
And for me, the motivation still, and it one day won't be, is the scale. Because I must admit the scale has been going up and down these last 2 weeks, which has been very frustrating, but I'm trying to trust the process because it's been going all over the place. But then again, I haven't been completely consistent. I've always woken up the next day and started with my window closed, but we're all human, and I'm trying to create a new lifestyle, a new habit with intermittent fasting, IFing.
Yep. And remember, Wendy, that you can't control what your body is going to heal first. So keep your window, your sweet spot window, and your body could be working on something, internally. So you have this neck pain, these back issues, you have other things that need attention. Your body is going to prioritize what it wants to prioritize. So those scale victories will come, but yes, trust the process. Hang in there.
Just hang in there, hang in there. So we'll move on to the next segment, which is making habits easy and satisfying. So in chapter 12, Clear dives into the third law, make it easy. It's human nature to follow the path of least resistance, right? It's really easy to just go in the kitchen and get that bag of chips that you bought that you shouldn't have bought and open the bag of chips and sit on the couch and eat in front of the TV and finish the bag of chips. That's really easy, the path of least resistance. So if you want to form a new habit, make it as simple as possible to start.
Yep. And he gives such a good tip for this. He talks about the 2-minute rule, which I think is so brilliant. When you're starting a new habit, try to make it less than 2 minutes to complete. For example, if you want to start a habit of exercising, just commit each day to putting your workout clothes on. And once you've done that, you're more likely to follow through with the workout. And I actually want to try this one too, because when I get home from work, I'll change sometimes right into my pajamas. Sometimes I'll put on just, sweatpants or whatever. But if I put on like the clothes that I'm going to wear to exercise, and I think that could actually do the trick. I'll go downstairs and I just might get that extra motivation to just keep going and take that walk or do some exercise program like you have at home.
Well, I have just arrived fresh off a plane from Mexico last night. A great friend who is dying to go to the gym with me. And he's putting his hands up. He's here in the living room with me because I have a membership to Planet Fitness. Today I have on my sweatpants and my running shoes. So I am already dressed for the activity.
You're going to go together?
We're going to go together to the gym
Nice.
today. We first have to go to the music store and pick up a violin because he's going to be playing while he's here too. He's also a musician, a Mexican musician, Marco, my good friend.
Nice.
So we're going to go to the gym together, and I have a special black card membership now, which I can bring a friend for free. And we can also use, which is great at Planet Fitness, this wonderful hydro massage chair. And the hydro massage chair is wonderful for me, for my backache and my neck ache, because of these warm water jets that go up and down your body for 20 minutes. It's perfect. It's absolutely
Talk about a
perfect.
great reward for your new habit. That's a great reward.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I can be there in 8 hours. So wait for me. I'm coming.
yeah, get in your car and come. Actually, I would love to get in my car and come down there very soon.
Yes.
And we'll do the
Yes.
podcast together in person.
Oh my gosh, how
Because
fun.
that would be so fun, because I have never met Alison in person. How long have we known each other? How long have we known each other now?
I
What,
think we
2
connected in
months?
August. Yeah.
In August?
I think.
Okay.
Mhm.
In August. Yeah, it's great. So I got off track. So the 2-minute rule. So making something really easy to start a habit. The thing about my journaling that made it very easy for me to do, before I go to bed, I always clean the kitchen. I always put the dishes in the dishwasher. I turn on the dishwasher. So I have a completely clean kitchen first thing in the morning. That's a habit that I love. And I've done that for the longest time. But now I put my journal out on the table with the pen on top of it, on my table. First thing I see after I've made my cup of coffee, the journal is there waiting for me to start working on the journal and put in my thoughts.
Perfect.
It can be anything. It's the same thing. It doesn't really work. I do have my guitar out. I haven't played my guitar for a long time, because the problem with not playing your guitar, if you don't play your guitar, you lose the calluses on your fingers, and it hurts. If the strings hurt your fingers. Now, Marco's a violinist, and he has these great fingers with metallic calluses on top, so he can play for hours. But starting something, the 2-minute rule is great. Make it as easy as possible. If you want to drink more water, put the water out on the counter. If you want to eat more fruit, put the fruit out on the counter. Make something so that it's visible for you, but also to create a new habit. Start with 2 minutes. It's fine, So
Absolutely.
So the next segment, the power of habit tracking. Here we go. Here's a biggie. So let's talk about habit tracking. Clear talks about this in chapter 16, and I found it so motivating. So Alison, do you track your habits?
I absolutely do, and it's so helpful. So a habit tracker is going to give you a visual cue, something that's obvious to remind you of your progress. So you can mark your fasts on a workout or your workout on a calendar. Kind of keeps you honest. We often think we're doing better than we actually are, but seeing it on paper really helps you to be consistent. I don't know if you can see this, but this is my fasting app, and it's tracking my fast, and it's holding me accountable, and it's really giving me an instant reward every time I can put another day on my calendar that I completed a healthy fast.
Yes. I think you have the Zero app. Is that the Zero app? Because I
That's
have
correct.
that. Yeah, I have mine on. I've been fasting 14 hours and 40 minutes so far, and I have that right on my homepage. Oh, there you go. 17 hours. Oh, you're beating me. There we go. So you have
that late night snack.
I did.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I will get there. I have. I've been practicing, and I've been talking to my friend Marco here, who's visiting from Guadalajara in Mexico. And I was telling him, you can start with something simple. If you close your window at 7 p.m. after dinner and you don't eat again till the next morning at 7 a.m., that's a 12-hour fast. And you've done it during your sleeping. And you're already helping your body to start repairing itself. And then you can, eventually, if you feel up to it, the next week, try it for a week or two, and then the next week try 13 hours. And then the next
Mm-hmm.
week, try 14 hours. I make it up usually about 19 hours and 20 hours. So I have a 5-hour eating window.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned many times before, what's more important is your eating window is more important than your fasting window, in the sense that you can have an eating window of 5 hours, but then you can also fast for, less or more time. But you get into a fat burning stage.
Mm-hmm.
It says on the app, I don't know how true that is, but I think it's after 16 hours, I get a message on my phone that says, congratulations, you are now in the fat burning zone. Is it
Yeah, I mean,
16 hours?
I think true intermittent fasting, you would have a minimum of a 16-hour fast. So the app does shoot out that message, but it is very individual for each person.
Right.
I like to track the eating window because my schedule changes from day to day. But I
Yeah.
know when I wake up, I have like a sweet spot number of eating hours that I can have. And I can have them in the morning, I can have them midday, and I can have them in the afternoon.
Right.
Obviously, like you last night, you had a later eating window, so it makes your fast shorter. But if you move it then back to the midday, then your next fast will be longer and it all averages out.
Yeah, that's right. And what's so interesting about this whole intermittent fasting world, what I've discovered, because I have this new physiotherapist that I go to twice a week, and I'm chatty catty. I have verbal diarrhea. That's me. Wendy, talk, talk, talk. I started talking about intermittent fasting, and guess what my therapist said?
What?
I practice intermittent fasting as well.
You're kidding.
And she's been practicing intermittent fasting for 4 years, and she's lost 50 pounds.
Wow.
And so, there was this great connection. And then last week I was shopping at the local grocery store here. It's called Loblaws, and Loblaws is inside Maple Leaf Gardens. Maple Leaf Gardens is a very famous building where the Toronto Maple Leafs used to play. And I was talking to the cashier about intermittent fasting, and she said, I practice intermittent fasting. I'm like, oh my God. So all of these, and oh yeah, one more person in my building. I was talking to a woman who is a neighbor, and she has a young daughter who goes to the National Ballet School. And I was talking about my podcast with her, and I told her about my intermittent fasting. And she says, I've been intermittent fasting since my child was born, because I wanted to get rid of the baby fat.
Mm-hmm.
And she has. And
then they stick with it. Share.
So it's amazing, because I'm very, as you know, I'm a very open, extrovert kind of person, and I share, and I'm excited, and I overshare, whatever. It's who I am,
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, lump it. But anyway, I start talking to people, and I'm discovering this whole secretive intermittent fasting community, because people are not broadcasting it. People don't broadcast that they're intermittent fasting because it's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't talk about your lifestyle. You don't talk about what kind of sex you have in the bedroom. That's personal, right? I don't know why I said that. But anyway, but it's so interesting, this whole intermittent fasting world. And I'm so glad that I discovered it, because I mentioned it maybe in another podcast that I had a skin tag that fell off recently. But the most interesting thing that's happened to me, Alison, and I have to share this with everybody, is that I was watching TV on my couch, and I lifted up my glasses, and I was like, oh my God, the TV's in focus without my glasses.
You're kidding. We hear this all the time. It's happening.
My eyesight is changing.
That's amazing.
So I feel naked without my glasses, because I think my face, for everybody who's watching me right now on YouTube, I don't normally, take my glasses off, but I'm thinking, because when I was driving I was bringing my sister to the airport, and I had my sunglasses on that are prescription sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
And I took them off while I was driving. It's like, oh my God, I can see this. I can read the street signs that are 2 blocks away without the glasses. And when I put the glasses back on, they're out of focus. Now, these glasses are middle distance for the computer. That hasn't changed yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the distance glasses has changed.
That's amazing.
Which is great, maybe expensive, but great, because that means I can buy regular sunglasses and not have prescription sunglasses. So, I mean, I really like Ray-Bans, but I can't buy Ray-Bans because they're not prescriptive. But now I don't need them.
Absolutely.
So that is, when you talk about what's that great word? Autophagy?
Yeah, autophagy.
I actually remembered the word.
You got it.
So autophagy and we're going to wrap up after this, but just imagine a street cleaner at night. I think it was, I don't know which book I read it in, or you said it, or somebody said it somewhere. Maybe Jen said it on her podcast. I don't know. A street cleaner at night, when the streets are clean, there's no traffic. So the street cleaners can come out and clean the streets. So while we're sleeping and while we're fasting, the street cleaner is cleaning our blood, is cleaning everything that is wrong and getting rid of the garbage during the fasting. That's autophagy. So it helps with skin tags, it helps with your skin, and in my case, it helps with my sight. It's improving my sight. Who knew?
Just crazy, right? Yep.
I'm not growing an extra ear. I'm not growing any extra teeth at the moment. You never know. But my eyesight has improved, and I have been doing this for 45 days.
That's just amazing.
So, I think that we're pretty much at the end of this segment, this podcast episode. I think this was great. I really, really, really highly recommend for everybody to run, not walk, run to the bookstore or run to Amazon and get yourself this book, The Atomic Habits by James Clear, because it's really helpful for anybody who doesn't really know how to start something as big and changing as a new habit like intermittent fasting. It's a really great book. There are all sorts of really, really great other things online that he has. Where's that link again? I forget. So there's like when you download the book. So I have dyslexia, and I always listen to a book through Audible and read the book at the same time. So I look at the words and listen to the words at the same time, which helps me with my understanding of what I'm reading. And when you download the book to a Kindle and also listen to it on Audible, on Kindle, you can actually highlight in yellow on your Kindle, on your phone, on the app, or on the actual Kindle device, highlight sections. And then you can that gets saved, and you can actually email yourself the document of your highlighted sections that you liked in the book, which is really
handy. There's so many digital downloads with the book. So I listened on Audible, but I could hear him. He was telling me over and over, go to atomichabits.com/media, MEDIA media, and then you can get all of his free digital downloads that will help you to adopt these new habits.
Yeah. And then the other thing that keeps on coming up on my phone is that you can also download the app. So it's called Atomics, the app, and you can download the app. And every single day, a really great, helpful tip comes up on the app that you can just takes 2 minutes to read. And you're just like reminded, like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. There was one thing that I just wanted to read quickly because I thought it was very, very helpful. And I'll just read that quickly. Lesson 5 that I got here on my phone. And where is it? Here it is. So here's right on the phone, and then we'll wrap up after that. How about that, Alison? Sounds good?
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. So make the good habit obvious. So we talked about this in the podcast. So the physical environment exerts a powerful force on your daily habits. The items in your office, the stuff in your living room, the design and layout of your physical spaces influences the choices you make because it determines which actions are obvious and easy to do. So look around. Each object is like a magnet gently pulling a certain amount of your attention towards it. Whenever you discard the distractions, the tug of that object is released and you get some attention back. So meanwhile, when you make a good habit the centerpiece of a space, you make it easier to remember to do it. So this is simple. It's a simple thing you can do to make it easier to build a new habit. Make it obvious. Want to practice your guitar more often or more frequently? Put it on a stand in the middle of the living room. Want to eat more fruit? Set it out in a bowl on the kitchen counter where it's easy to see. Want to listen to more audiobooks? Put the app in the most visible place on your home screen so it is the first thing you see when you open your phone. Pay attention to how your environment is shaping your behavior. When you walk into a room, look around and ask yourself, what is this space designed to encourage? What is easier? What is easy to do here? What is obvious to do here? You'll notice a few adjustments. You'll often notice a few adjustments that will make your desired habits easier to do and your undesired ones harder to do. The more disciplined your environment is, the less disciplined you need to be. Don't swim upstream. James Clear.
Yes.
So this is a great daily lesson that just emphasizes what we talked about today in the podcast. Make your habit obvious and take away the distractions. You know, it may be simple and clear, but it will really be helpful.
Mm-hmm. It will change your life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this has been a great episode. I have no idea how long it is. I didn't even time it this time. I just thought, whatever.
Just going with the flow.
Yeah, go with the flow. So I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, because here in Canada, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and this Monday is Thanksgiving, and I'll be going and having a actual Thanksgiving dinner in a restaurant. So I booked a reservation in a great restaurant here in downtown Toronto. I'm taking my nephew, Nicholas, and my good friend, Marco, and the three of us are going to have a real live turkey Thanksgiving dinner with all the fixings, cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie, you name it, it's all going to be there. I'm going to eat and eat and eat until I'm full, because I'm not worried about my intermittent fasting lifestyle, because my eating window will be open and I can eat whatever the turkey I want.
Wonderful. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and thanks again for joining me today. I think that we've had some great ideas, and if you want to make us, Alison and myself, part of your tribe, and start, just join her Facebook group, The Regain Remedy, and get her book or listen to her book. So I have to stop talking, right?
Our time has come to an end, but there'll be another time. Don't worry, Wendy.
There will be another time. This was episode 12. It was great talking to you. It was great to talk about this book, Atomic Habits. And I don't know what we're going to talk about next time, but you guys are all hear about it on Facebook and on the other places that you go to find out information about me and Alison and the whole world.
Yeah, we'll let you know. And thanks for having me. It's been awesome to talk about Atomic Habits. I loved it.
Yeah, it was really great. So Atomic Habits, James Clear, maybe he'll hear this. Maybe I'll just forward him the podcast. Yes. And maybe we can get James Clear to come on the podcast and the three of us can talk, because
that'd be awesome. It's
a really, really important tool to help you with your health lifestyle. It's not about, you want to become successful in business or whatever, but for you and me, it's about our journey in health, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time, Alison, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Keep building those habits.